Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Young Black Social Worker, where I talk about all things related to social work. Now, today's video is going to be about vulnerability as a social work practitioner. Now, what I mean by that is being able to show your emotions and how you show your emotions when you're a social worker who is there and is going to be in quite difficult situations, is likely to be challenged, or in situations where you're potentially going to have to challenge others. And how do you manage your emotions if you're an emotional person? How do you manage your emotions if you're in a profession where it can seem like you need to be hard, you need to be on the ball all the time? Now, by the time this video comes out, I probably would have posted a blog page on my website, Young Black Social Worker, which talks about the day that I cried. And this wasn't a day that I cried as a newly qualified social worker. This wasn't the day that I cried as a social worker. This was the day that I cried as a social worker manager. Now, when I wrote that post, I contemplated about posting it because I'm a manager. I'm not supposed to be showing those kind of vulnerabilities, or it seems like I'm not supposed to be showing those kind of vulnerabilities on the internet. I'm a leader, I'm a manager, I'm meant to take charge, I'm meant to take direction or give direction, and going online and talking about the day that you cried as a social worker, a social work manager, just didn't seem to fit that MO. It didn't seem to fit that, just didn't seem to fit basically. And like I said, I was debating posting it because I just didn't feel that it would be appropriate to share that. But like I've said before on this channel, and like I always say, it's about being real and it's about giving the honest truths about social work. Now, just to quickly sum it up, the reason why I cried, the reason why I got emotional was because I felt that I'd let myself down in a situation that ordinarily I wouldn't have needed to get emotional about. So just quickly, I was new to a job, and there was a situation where I'd started and I felt that I wasn't really aware of what I was doing. I wasn't really sure of what I was doing. Now, for a lot of us as social workers, I'm sure that can resonate. When you start a new job, you're getting to know the place that you're working, you're getting to know your team, you're getting to know just what you're doing in general. And you know your abilities as a practitioner, you know your abilities as a worker, you know that you can give 110% at something. But when you're in a situation where you just don't know what you're doing, or you just don't feel like you have the tools, then you can feel kind of de-skilled. You can feel that things are just taking you right back to that initial stage, that baby stage, that stage where you just don't know how to feel what you're doing. And that's what I felt in that moment in time. So a situation arose and I basically wasn't able to, so a situation happened, and because I was in that mode of I'm new here, I don't know what I'm doing, I haven't been eased in, I haven't been given that grace to kind of learn on the job or learn in the job, or have that just ability to kind of grasp what I'm doing, because once I know, I will know it to the best of my abilities. There's no doubt about that. But because I hadn't been given that grace, and then this situation happened, it made me really, really emotional. And it made me think, if this was a situation where I'd been given that grace, I'd been given that opportunity to learn, this definitely would not have happened. And I guess the reason why I wanted to make a video about it was because I wanted to just also share my experiences for you guys out there as well, because I took a lot of reflections away from that particular situation, and that was about being able to stop and pause at that point in time. And if a situation I feel is not serving me well, if there is a situation that I feel I need to make some noise about, I need to actually be quite honest about, then I will do it. Whereas previously, I wasn't the kind of practitioner who would have done. I would have just accepted things for how they were, accepted that I made a mistake, and just even though if I recognize that there was other parties at play, or other parties that could have supported me, I would have just accepted it. But I feel like when you start moving into the realms of developing, when you start moving into the realms of not making mistakes, then you need to be able to nip things in the bud early on, and you need to be able to ask for support where support is needed, and you need to be able to stand up for yourself as a practitioner and say, look, I don't feel that this situation was fair for me, I don't feel that this situation would have happened if X, Y, and Z. So one of the things that I did afterwards, and that I would implore you guys to do, is that I made sure that I spoke up. So I was within a forum or within a space where there were people there who had the authority, had the ability to listen to what I was saying and take it on board. And I made sure that I was very, very clear with my views, very, very clear that I'm not happy about the fact that I haven't been treated in a certain way, or I'm not happy about the fact that I haven't been given an opportunity as I would have expected. You know, if I'm here, if I'm showing that if I'm working for you guys, then I'm also expecting something back. It's not just about taking, it's about what you also give as well. So make sure that you're, you know, talking up when things aren't seeming great, or when you're not being given these opportunities, or just where you're not happy with something. The other thing was that I made sure that as a manager, I took my experiences and made sure that the people that I then support weren't in a similar situation to me, because on one hand it's okay to say, well, this happened to me, so other people just need to learn from that mistake. But it's another thing as a leader to say, okay, this was a situation that happened for me, this is how it made me feel, and this is what I'm going to do next time so that no one else feels the way that I do. So it's about taking that feeling and making sure and turning it into something good, turning it into something that is supportive, turning it into something that is not going to impact or be the experience of others. So definitely make sure that you do that. And it doesn't even have to be as a manager, it could be as, you know, if there's someone new who's starting in your team, it's about what you can do to make sure that their experiences are such that they feel supported, or such that they don't feel that they're kind of being thrown into the deep end. The other thing that I took away from that experience was giving myself the space to actually reflect on it. I know in a job such as social work, where it's really busy and it's high intensity stress, you tend to just move on from things very, very quickly. So a situation happens, you haven't had time to think about it, and you just move on, and you just move on, and you just move on, until it gets to a point where things just blow up, or your emotions get the better of you, and like that particular situation, and you cry, you get emotional. And what I learned from that was not to bottle things up. I had to cry. That situation of crying was a build-up of all the feelings that I had pent up over the past few months, over the past few weeks, and not just within that job as well, in other jobs as well, just all those emotions that I built up. And what I've learned from that is, we're not going to do that anymore. If I'm not happy about something, I'm going to say it, because if you're not sharing your views, if you're not sharing what's going on for you, then how do you expect people to know that something's up? How do you expect people to know how to support you? How do you expect people to know? Obviously, if it's blatant, then you know, people should have the emotional intelligence to be able to read that. But if it's not blatant, and you're not using your voice, you're not using your words to express how you're feeling and the impact that someone's behaviour is having on you, then unfortunately you can't particularly expect those changes. So I quickly learned that I had to speak up. I had to be someone that, you know, if I wasn't happy with something, I just had to say. And it's not about kind of going off on a rant, or, you know, talking in a way that is less, that, you know, gives the impression that you're being aggressive or whatever. It's about being able to assert yourself in a situation whereby you feel like you're being wronged, or you feel like, do you know what this person has done is having an impact on X, Y, and Z. So yeah, definitely make sure that you're speaking up about those kind of things, because without it, like I said, it just builds up and it builds up and it builds up. So yeah, so this was a very, very quick video, but something that I just really wanted to talk about, and just thought that I should share, and something that I thought would be of help to you guys out there. If you liked it, please make sure that you comment and you like it. If you have any other suggestions for videos that you'd like me to do, please also make sure that you leave them in the comment section below. Thank you, bye.